Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving deep into something I think a lot of you are going to find super interesting.
Yeah, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
Exactly. We're going to be looking at why 2025 is predicted to be like the year to launch your business.
A real gold rush.
Yeah. So our source material for this deep dive is this article from entrepreneur.com called 5 Reasons Why 2025 Will Be Your Most Amazing Year Yet as an Entrepreneur.
Bold title, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, just looking at it from like the macro perspective, one thing that stood out to me was the prediction of lower interest rates.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Like, remember back in the dot-com boom when, interest rates were low? It really fueled a lot of that growth.
Okay, so cheaper capital is the first reason. That makes sense. Like more cash to actually grow your business.
Right. But, I mean, the dot-com boom, it didn't end well for a lot of people, so I was kind of curious if the article addressed that.
Yeah, good point.
Well, it doesn't explicitly talk about the dot-com bubble, but it does say that lower interest rates by themselves aren't enough.
It really emphasizes that it's the combination of cheaper capital and like a surge in investor motivation that makes 2025 unique.
Okay, so more money available and more people wanting to invest it. That does sound promising.
Right.
But what's making investors so eager?
Well, the article says it's partly because the stock market's been doing really well, which tends to make investors more willing to take risks.
Oh, so they're more likely to invest in startups, things with higher potential returns.
Exactly. And, on top of that, there's the political landscape to consider.
Oh yeah, politics. Always a bit of a wild card, right?
Absolutely.
So what are they predicting for 2025?
Well, the article predicts a Republican-dominated government, and historically they've been, I guess you could say, more business-friendly with their policies.
Like less regulation, lower taxes, things like that.
Exactly.
But like how reliable are those kinds of predictions? Seems risky to base your whole business plan on that.
You're right. It's always tough to say for sure with politics.
But to be fair to the article, they're not putting all their eggs in that basket.
Okay, good.
They also talk about rising consumer confidence as a big factor for growth in 2025.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If consumers are feeling good, they're more likely to spend money, which is good for everyone.
Right.
But what's causing that confidence? Is it just the strong stock market, or is there something else going on?
Well, that's definitely part of it, but the article also points to all the new tech that's expected to hit the market in 2025.
Ooh, okay, now we're talking. This is what I'm excited about.
Right. New technology always shakes things up.
Always. So what kind of innovations are we talking about here? Any specifics?
They keep it pretty high level, but they do mention AI becoming more accessible, more affordable even, which could be huge for entrepreneurs.
Whoa, AI for everyone.
That's the idea.
That's amazing. But like, how would that actually help entrepreneurs? Can I actually use AI to boost my sales or something?
Well, imagine having AI tools that analyze your customer data, predict what they're going to buy, and even personalize your marketing messages.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see the potential here.
And, I mean, on top of everything else we've talked about, cheaper capital, eager investors, a potentially pro-business government, rising consumer confidence. It really does paint a pretty exciting picture for 2025.
Yeah, it does. It almost sounds too good to be true. Like, are we missing something?
Well, the question isn't just if 2025 is going to be great for entrepreneurs.
Right.
It's how you are going to take advantage of it.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we have all the ingredients for a delicious cake, but now we need to figure out how to actually bake it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to dive into next.
Sorry, can't wait.
So, 2025 could be huge, right? But it's not enough to just kind of wait around and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's not going to just magically happen for us.
Exactly. It's about being strategic, taking action, really thinking about how to use everything 2025 has to offer to your advantage.
Okay, so cheaper capital. That means it's a good time to look for funding, but there's going to be a lot of competition, right? With more investors looking for opportunities.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, your pitch, it's got to be rock solid.
Yeah, you really got to sell them on your idea.
And, it's not just about a good idea anymore. It's about showing how you're going to use new tech to make that idea even better, more efficient, all that.
Right. It's like good idea plus cutting edge tech equals success.
Pretty much. But, I mean, there's so much tech out there. How do you even know where to start?
Yeah, it can be overwhelming for sure.
Totally. So I think the key is to focus on what you need, like what are your biggest pain points, what's slowing your business down. And then you look for the tech that can help.
Okay, so don't just jump on every tech trend. Find the tools that'll actually solve your problems.
Right. But tech isn't everything.
True.
What about the people, your team? Like, how do you build a team that can thrive in this crazy, fast-changing world?
Yeah, that's a good point.
As tech gets more advanced, the skills that are important changing too. Like in 2025, I think entrepreneurs are going to need to prioritize adaptability, creativity, and critical thinking, problem-solving skills.
So it's not just about technical expertise. It's about being able to think outside the box, roll with the punches, come up with new solutions.
Exactly.
But where do you even find those people? And once you have them, how do you create a culture that encourages those qualities?
Well, that's where leadership comes in, right? As an entrepreneur, you got to set the tone. Create a workplace where people feel comfortable taking risks, experimenting.
So mistakes are okay.
More than okay. They're learning opportunities. Celebrate the failures, That's how you learn and grow.
Okay, so a culture of constant learning and improvement.
Right. But, with all this focus on adapting and innovating, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture, your long-term vision.
Yeah. How do you stay focused on that while also being agile, responding to sudden market changes?
It's a balancing act for sure. And, another big thing for 2025 is staying ahead of the competition.
Okay, but how do you do that? It's like trying to predict the future.
Well, you don't have to predict it perfectly, but you got to understand your market, your customers, anticipate what they're going to want before they even know it.
Okay, so constantly be on the lookout for new trends, changes in consumer behavior, new tech.
Exactly. You got to be a trend spotter.
That sounds kind of cool, actually.
It is. It's like being a detective for your industry.
Okay, I like that.
And once you have those insights, you can use them to develop innovative products, services, stay ahead of the curve.
So you're not just following trends, you're setting them.
Exactly. But of course, there's risk involved, right? You might misinterpret something, invest in the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's always a possibility.
But, that's part of being an entrepreneur. You can't let fear paralyze you.
True.
You got to take calculated risks, be adaptable, stay informed, and, ultimately believe in yourself and your vision.
Okay, so we've talked about using tech, adapting to change, being proactive. But what about relationships?
Oh, yeah, the human element. That's crucial, especially in a world that's becoming so tech-driven.
Yeah, but how do you even find the time for networking, building relationships?
It's an investment, just like anything else. It takes time, effort, but it pays off big time.
So it's not just about collecting business cards, it's about building real, genuine connections with people.
Right. It's about creating your own personal board of directors, people who can support you, offer advice, challenge you.
Okay, so it's about building a network of trust and support.
Exactly. And, it's not just about what others can do for you, it's about contributing, offering your own expertise and support to others.
So two-way street.
Exactly. And, beyond individual connections, there's also the wider community to think about.
Oh, yeah. What about that? We haven't really touched on that.
Well, we talk about how consumers are more drawn to brands that, align with their values, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just about what you sell, it's about the impact you make, the difference you're making in the world.
So entrepreneurs can use their businesses for good.
Exactly. It's about thinking about social and environmental consequences, making ethical choices.
Okay, so a win-win situation. You build a successful business, A&D, you make the world a better place.
Yeah, I think so.
But with all this talk about innovation and impact, it's easy to forget about the less glamorous side of things, like the money stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Finances are crucial, especially when you're talking about a year like 2025, which could be pretty volatile.
So what should entrepreneurs be doing to make sure they're financially stable, prepared for anything?
Well, first things first, you got to have a realistic budget, right? Don't overspend, especially in the beginning. Track your expenses, cut unnecessary costs.
So be careful with your money. But isn't that kind of counterintuitive? If 2025 is going to be so big, shouldn't you be investing aggressively to, grab those opportunities?
Well, it's about balance, right? You need to invest to grow, but you also need to be smart, make sure you have a strong foundation.
So what's a good balance? How much should I be saving?
A good rule of thumb is to have 3 to 6 months of operating expenses saved up.
Okay, so that's a good safety net in case things get tough.
Exactly. And, then there's debt.
Ooh, yeah. With lower interest rates, it might be tempting to borrow more.
It might, but you got to be careful. Don't take on more than you can handle. Make sure you have a plan for repayment. and factor in that interest rates might go up in the future.
Okay, so be strategic with debt, even when it seems like free money.
Right.
But, with all this talk about numbers and planning, it's easy to forget that entrepreneurship is also about passion and drive and, believing in yourself.
Absolutely.
And, even in a year like 2025, there are going to be challenges, there are going to be setbacks.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how do you stay motivated when things get tough?
Well, you got to remember why you started this in the first place, right? What's your vision? What are you trying to achieve? And, surround yourself with supportive people who believe in you, people who can pick you up when you fall.
So a good support system is key.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But it's not just about having cheerleaders. It's also about having people who can give you honest feedback, challenge you to be better.
So a mix of support and constructive criticism.
Exactly.
But it's also about having the right mindset, right? Like being able to bounce back from setbacks, not letting them crush you.
Absolutely. Resilience is key.
But how do you develop resilience? Is that something you can learn?
I think so. I think it's like a muscle. You got to exercise it. Embrace failure as a learning opportunity, adapt to change, and never give up on your dream.
So it's okay to fall down as long as you get back up.
Exactly. And, remember that you're not alone. Every entrepreneur faces challenges. It's part of the journey.
Yeah, that's supposed to be easy.
Definitely not. But with careful planning, sound financial management, and the right mindset, you can overcome those challenges and achieve your goals.
And with all the positive things happening in 2025, it seems like the perfect time to really go for it.
Absolutely. It's a time for bold ideas, innovative solutions, and, making a real difference in the world.
Yeah. 2025, the year of the entrepreneur.
I love the sound of that.
Okay, so we've talked about all these amazing opportunities in 2025 and how entrepreneurs can really capitalize on them.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year for sure.
But I think for our listeners, they're probably wondering, what's the next step? Where do we go from here?
Well, we've talked about a lot of important things, right? Like having a clear vision, being adaptable, using technology effectively.
Right.
But it all boils down to action, You got to actually take those insights and put them into practice.
So don't just sit around and wait for something to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, make it happen.
And I think a lot of people get stuck in that planning phase, They're so afraid of making a mistake that they never actually start.
Yeah, I totally get that. But the thing is, you're going to make mistakes. It's inevitable. It's how you learn and grow.
So embrace the mistakes. See them as learning opportunities.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask for help, Find mentors, connect with other entrepreneurs, build a support system.
That's so important, having people you can rely on, bounce ideas off of.
It makes a huge difference. And, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone's journey is different.
That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing, especially on social media.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But you got to focus on your own path, your own goals.
And celebrate your own successes, no matter how small.
Absolutely. Every win is a win, no matter the size.
Okay, so key takeaways for our listeners.
Be proactive, take action, don't be afraid to make mistakes, build a strong support system, and celebrate your successes.
And remember, 2025 is just around the corner, so start preparing now.
Absolutely. The future is yours to create.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah, this has been a great conversation.
I agree. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.